In 1587, a group of English settlers landed on Roanoke Island. This was a sliver of land off the coast of what we now call North Carolina. They carried with them the hopes of a nation. The settlers, more than 100 men, women, and children, began building their homes. Their leader was Governor John White, an artist and a cartographer. His daughter, Eleanor Dare, was pregnant. On August 18, 1587, she gave birth to a baby girl. They named her Virginia Dare. She was the very first English child born in the Americas. The colony was not without its challenges. Supplies were dwindling faster than expected. Their relationship with local Native American tribes was uncertain. Every shadow in the forest reminded them of their isolation and vulnerability. John White knew he had to act. The colonists decided he must return to England. As his ship sailed away from Roanoke, he looked back at the small settlement, unaware he would never see any of them again. John White arrived back in England filled with a sense of urgency. He immediately began organizing a relief mission for the Roanoke settlers. He secured ships and gathered the vital supplies they so desperately needed. But his plans were suddenly halted by a major international crisis. The formidable Spanish Armada was preparing to attack. Queen Elizabeth I, facing the greatest threat to her reign, made a critical decision. She commanded that all able-bodied ships must remain in England to defend the realm. No vessel was permitted to leave for any other purpose, not even for a life-saving mission across the Atlantic. This declaration was a devastating blow to John White. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. He could only imagine the fear and hardship his colonists were enduring. Were they starving? Were they sick? Had they been attacked? The great naval conflict finally ended in 1588 with England's victory over the Spanish Armada. But the aftermath of the war left the country in turmoil. Finally, in 1590, John White managed to secure passage on a privateering expedition. After 3 long, torturous years, he was at last sailing back to Roanoke. On August 18, 1590, Virginia Dare's 3rd birthday, John White's ship finally anchored near Roanoke Island. As he and his men rowed toward the shore, an eerie silence greeted them. There were no welcoming shouts. No smoke rose from the chimneys of the small cottages. As they walked into the abandoned village, they found a ghost town. The houses stood empty, overgrown with weeds. Personal belongings were gone. There was no sign of the more than 100 men, women, and children who had called this place home. There were no bodies. Most importantly, there were no signs of a struggle or a violent attack. It was as if the people had packed their belongings and walked away. The letters CRO were carved into a tree near the edge of the settlement. Then, on one of the main posts of the fort's palisade, a single cryptic word was carved in bold letters: CROATOAN. This was the name of a nearby island, now known as Hatteras Island, and the name of the Native American tribe that lived there. Was this the message White had been looking for? White was desperate to sail to CROATOAN Island to find his family. But fate once again intervened. A powerful storm began to brew, threatening to destroy their ship. The captain refused to risk his vessel or his crew. John White was forced to leave, his heart shattered. He would never again have the chance to return to America. The mystery of what happened to the Roanoke colonists has endured for over 4 centuries. The most widely accepted theory is that the settlers assimilated with the CROATOAN people. Archaeological digs on Hatteras Island have uncovered English artifacts from the right time period. Later accounts reported seeing Native Americans with gray eyes and knowledge of the English language. Some believe the settlers may have attempted to sail back to England on their own and were lost at sea. Others speculate they were attacked and wiped out by a hostile tribe. The theory of starvation and disease is also plausible. Left on their own for 3 years, the colonists could have simply succumbed to the harsh realities of the untamed wilderness. The story of the Lost Colony has become a cornerstone of American folklore. It is a tale told around campfires and in history classrooms, a haunting narrative of disappearance and mystery. The name Virginia Dare is known by millions, not for the life she lived, but for the life that remains a question mark. The story has inspired countless books, plays, television shows, and movies. The single word left behind, CROATOAN, has become one of the most famous and enigmatic clues in all of history. Despite ongoing archaeological work and historical research, no definitive proof has ever been found. The puzzle is still incomplete. The settlers of Roanoke walked out of their village and into legend, leaving behind only silence and a word carved in wood. The Lost Colony is forever shrouded in intrigue, its legacy a chilling question that echoes through the trees of Roanoke Island.
Thank you for joining Strange Mystery World. If you find the video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to motivate me to create more videos and not miss out on the interesting things behind Strange Mystery World. See you in the next video.